Do you buy vinyl?
My name is Top Dollar, AKA Paul Major. This is what's in my bag.
Yeah, I might be wounded now, but let me tell you about when I was really wounded. I was in St. Louis back in 1974.
This one truly hit me. Bent Wind, Sussex. It's a Canadian band, really hard sludgy rock, really heavy fuzz guitars going crazy. The #1 kingpin of Canadian psychedelic mayhem. My favorite track is called Riverside, where the singer strangles his girlfriend. He's wandering along the river, sort of like, oh, what have I done, or something, while it goes into breaks with the best drumming you ever heard. Just amazing. Like, in 1982, you could have bought this album for $200 sealed. Now you could sell it for $10,000 or more, and possibly it'd be one of those records that goes way higher. This is one of many reissues, a legitimate one, and of course, you know, this cover art, when you're a kid and you're flipping through the bins and you see that in the 25-cent section or something, it's like, ooh. I was interested to pull this out because I'm kind of amazed it got reissued or something. It's an obscure band from northern New York City named Cal.
I can't take this, can't take it anymore. I'm an American, straight now for you feel the storm.
The album name is Homegrown with pot leaves on it and the whole deal. And they were basically a Doors-style cover band, circa 1980. They were a cool band. I bought other stuff, like their songbook of everything that they covered, like that they used to take to gigs because they had to learn Hendrix songs and all that, because they were a cover band, and decided to make their own albums. And I found a copy in New York City, so I basically got almost the entire pressing from them at the time. I used to sell it for 20 bucks for years. You know, I had, you know, a couple hundred copies. And I was amazed by this song called Courageous Cat. Which has strong lounge lizard type things going on, sort of like strip away all bogus seriousness of a Jim Morrison approach and just bring on the, you know, really direct, subversive, creepy stuff, and they got it. So it was nice finding this here. Since even though I used to have hundreds of copies, I have none anymore.
What do you think happened to them?
I sold them all. Yeah. I'm a channel. I used to be like a, you know, a basket full of things, and then the bottom came out and I just became a channel. I actually had this fantasy, oh, when I die, I'm gonna have a big plexiglass coffin made and have all my favorite album covers embedded around it. And I started thinking, well, no, that's too far. And after a while, it became just kind of irritating to me, making up my mind whether I need to keep something or not, once I realized I can always hear the music. So I became a channel. All these records I used to have loads of copies from tracking the bands down. I figured, oh, I must have, you know, have one still somewhere, since my place is such a mess, and I'll find out, oh no, they're gone. And this one is, I guess, the deluxe CD reissue of Damon's Song of a Gypsy. And he's kind of an LA, like guru, mystic guru vibe with a little lounge thing going on too, and fuzz guitars.
They look at me, but I want them to see that inside I'm only human.
That was an early biggie for me. This would be about 1982, I guess, or something. I first heard about this record because of somebody else that had one and had a couple spare copies of this gatefold original version, which is like another like $5,000 or $10,000 record now. And I wanted it really bad, couldn't find it. There were only 100 copies made in 1969. And then I found this weird record called Circuit Rider. Only a couple years old, and the person that had the spare Damon was obsessed with that. When finally I said, okay, show me your biggest record that you don't show anybody. He pulls out Circuit Rider and go, ooh, I have that. I think I'll keep my mouth shut. And so it motivated me to track him down. It took a while, you know. I was saying, I want to buy your records, and he said, you know, I don't talk about money and art. I'll just send you some copies. So he did that, and I made the trade for the Damon, which made me happy. For LA, you know, there's certain records like Stack, Clap, Of the Air, they're probably the biggest ones. lot of ones like Creation of Sunlight and so forth.
And it's like light without heat.
Psychedelic records you'll see around once in a while, but certain ones, almost even back in the day, you'd hardly ever see them. That's one of them. Another one being Major of the legendary guy who had hit songs. He wrote for the Monkees and Glenn Campbell and stuff like that. Ran off to Peru, came back and made a psychedelic record. And all these mysterious things that happen out here.
As I look everywhere, beauty is revealed.
I tried really hard to get this record out of the bin, but all I could get to come out was this. It's fraction. So imagine like there's this white sleeve here with a red see-through plastic window, and it says Moon Blood and has this moon on it, and then these five biker gnarly looking dudes on the back. And it was in LA 1971, recorded at Glendale Studios for a label that was all Christian records, and 200 copies were made, recorded live in the studio, really heavy, gnarly rock. It just fell into my hands circa 1983 or 4 because of pursuit of another Strange record. And I went nuts, also spent a year and a half trying to track them down because I just smelled right away, oh, this is a big one. You know, back in the days when like 99.9% of the big ones were undiscovered. And after badgering the guitar player for a year or so, you know, I managed to get some sealed copies, which also are long gone. But now it's another one of the biggest records from your local home turf here. Finally, as I was sort of looking around and I realized that a lot of the stuff I was looking for was esoteric, I figured I'd just, you know, take a slice out of an important part of my life here and say, oh yeah. I was crazy into Hawkwind back in my youthful days.
Can you find the valium? Can you bring it soon? Lost John is out there, laying at the moon.
That was the trippin' music of choice rather than, you know, ELP or Genesis as far as, you know, my circle went. And then when Motorhead came out, we just went nuts. You know, It's a Bomber and all that kind of stuff just messed my head up.
It's a bomber, it's a bomber, it's a bomber.
So when I came to New York, January 1978, I had a band which had started as more like doing punk things and weird things and stuff. But my partner in the band, and the name of the band was the Moldy Dogs, but we changed it when we got to New York to the Tears, which was one wrong signal to me, like, oh, you know, cool name like the Moldy Dogs. Now we're the Tears, you know, it's wimpy. But he wanted to go power pop. Well, it's just, I did not want to go power pop. So I quit that and had a band called the Sorcerers, and we would do Motorhead and Hawkwind covers, like 10-minute Hawkwind as if done by Motorhead. Our hangout of choice several nights a week was Max's Kansas City, and as soon as the new Motorhead singles came out, we'd get them right on the jukebox of Max. So all the Motorhead singles available as they came out, and was getting up to be 6 or 8 of them, and beyond we're on the jukebox, and we get really wasted, put all our beers on there, and refuse to allow anybody to play anything except Motorhead until people got kind of hostile, but they wouldn't usually. Just to show my love of Motorhead, you know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I am